We got a whole bunch confiscated and stuff in the lake.
Got some painting that needs done. No?
I never had him do that.
All right, then we-
Mm-hmm.
6 o'clock, I'm going to call the pre-council meeting for the city of Ashtabula to order. Today is Monday, July 6th, 2026. Would you call the roll, Ms. Milberg?
Mr. Roscovics,
Here.
Mr. Simeone,
Here.
Mr. Guerrero,
Here,
Ms. Holman,
Present.
Mrs. Mills,
Here.
Mrs. DiGiacomo,
Here.
Mr. Timonier,
here.
Ms. Cooper, Mr. Khan.
Here.
Okay, we have no visitors or anything at this time. President's report, other than our next meeting is July 20th. That'll be our next meeting. Also, we are down a counselor. Mrs. Foglio has resigned, and so with that in mind, we need to remember that any votes that are 3-3 are felled. Those are failing votes. If something passes 4-2, it passes, but then there's a 30-day wait before any implementation or action can be taken on that. So that's just a reminder of those policies that may or may not arise.
Mr. President,
Yes.
will there be any conversation or discussion around the resignation?
Concerning what? I don't, the
Process.
Democratic Party is in charge of accepting applications and then interviewing them and then picking someone to replace her. But the council
Yes.
is
So,
really not involved in that.
I'll be more specific. That's not what I was referring to.
Okay.
So what was asked is, the reason or the rationale for the resignation, and I don't know if that's public or private, honestly, and I didn't respond to whoever made the inquiry. But behind the question is, depending upon the cause and the reason for resignation, did she participate in any legislation where she voted? And if so, do those votes count? And that is date dependent, if I'm not mistaken. That makes sense?
Well, as far as I know, in fact, Mrs. Foglio still owns the house on Walnut Boulevard. Now, as to when she actually vacated the house, I wasn't watching, and that was not my concern. I know she spoke with, I believe, the city solicitor about it, and I believe she had an attorney that she spoke with it about too. So I'm assuming all her actions were were legal, I guess, or within procedure. I'm not one to, I know there was talk on Facebook and all this and that, but I'm not one to really run my city council service through that medium. So I guess I don't know how you would find that out or how you would want to investigate that, but at this point, I'm not concerned about it.
Mr. President, if I might.
Yeah,
So whether a member of council is still qualified to sit on council is up to council to determine. So if council chooses to conduct an investigation, that is certainly up to you, but it would be on council to conduct that investigation and then make a determination.
So while we're on this subject, Mr. President, are you allowed to have more than one address?
You can have more than one address, sure. You can have a home here and a vacation home at Put-in-Bay, whatever. The question becomes which one you intend to make your permanent residence. So if you intend to make one your permanent residence and you still own the other, you do not reside in the other for council purposes. you have to reside in your ward. And residence is not owning a home, it's where you eat your dinner, it's where you, your family conducts their whatever, you know, it's where you live. And so, that would be the question, is you can own more than one house, but the house that's your primary residence, that you intend to make your primary residence, is the one that counts for your qualifying to be a member of city council.
You have a follow-up question?
I think she kind of answered it. I mean, to me, it sounds like we have absolutely no idea when she moved, and
It would be something that you'd have to ask her about.
you have to live in the city to be
Yes.
And Mr. President, if you represent a ward, you have to live in that ward.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess one question I would have as far, you know, and I know she said that we could investigate it if necessary. I guess the only thing that would make that even an issue is if there was a vote that was close enough that would be over, and I don't know that we had any that were a 4-3, where, you know, we're, basically we'd, without something like that, you know, we might just be wasting resources, I guess would be my thinking on it.
Well, I'm sure some explanation is better than no explanation. That's my take on it. But I am drawn to the words you say intend, what you intend to make a permanent residence. Yeah.
So I mean, like, when you buy a house, you're at the old house for a period of time, and then eventually you move into the new house. The old house is still your residence until you make the final move into the new house. But you can't say, I still own the old house, but I intend to live in this house, and I've moved all my clothes in here, and I've done all this and that, but I'm still a resident of the old house. No. It's just, and that's a factual question that only, I would suggest, Ms. Foglio could answer.
Anything else? Mr. Manager?
Thank you, Mr. President. A few things to ask for tonight. There are a few more vehicles that we need to determine obsolete, one of which is the old sewer jet. We're getting ready to do an auction or accept the bids for the vehicles, and we did find a few of them that we had not declared obsolete yet. So I believe there's 4 vehicles on this current ordinance there. Next, I would like an ordinance authorizing the renewal agreement with EPLS for prescription benefit consultant services. This is a company where if there is a situation where an employee has a very, very costly drug, they are able to go out and shop for that drug on behalf of the employee. And it also forces some insurance companies that if it's found and the employee is agreeable to go to a place where the drug is more affordable, it forces the insurance companies to have to cover the cost of that drug and that service. We don't have current language in our agreements right now, so this opens up some avenues for this. This does not prevent any employee or anybody covered under our policies from receiving a drug in an emergency situation. This is more on the lines of if additional doses are necessary or it becomes a prescription. The next I sent to you guys a while back. Don't know if you got through all 500 pages, but requesting a resolution to adopt the 2026 Ashtabula County Hazard Mitigation Plan update. This was done by the county EMA. They have been in discussion about updates to the mitigation plan for quite a while. We've reviewed the sections that pertain to the city, and we're in agreement with our obligations under the hazardous mitigation plan for the county. Of course, during the heat wave last week, we had some issues at the annex building with the HVAC units. We have Ziegler on board and who gave us a quote for emergency repairs. not to exceed $14,087. That expense will come from Fund 412, which is our PI fund. However, we do believe that these repairs fall into the NOPEC grant that we receive every year. So we do intend, as long as they are acceptable expenditures, to use the NOPEC grant funding to make these repairs. The 2 units on top of the annex are old. There's 2 stages in each of those units, so there is cooling over there, but when you get these extreme heats, you need both stages working, all 4 stages working, and a few of the stages were not working that we found. Rooftop replacements are over $100,000 a piece for those pieces of equipment, but it's something that we definitely need to consider. Also, when they were in walking over the building, a lot of changes has been made to the building. Offices moved around, walls put up, partitions put up, without thinking about the HVAC units' airflow. So there potentially could be some ductwork that needs to be rerouted as well if we're going to do a whole system upgrade. So that's something we're probably going to have our engineers look at and start planning for future replacement of those units over there.
The annex building is the police station and the court.
Courts,
That's
correct.
called the
And
annex.
solicitor's office, yes. Yep. Last for ordinances, this will be on a future council meeting. Brobst Tree Service came in with the lowest and best bids for round 3 of tree removals, $21,100. I believe there's 13 trees on this list, and it'll come out of the Public Works Fund for this. And these are trees that are damaged, dead, or in need of taken down. They're not healthy trees that we're just going around removing. So,
And that's tree lawn only?
correct, yes.
'Cause, you know, I called, it's been a while, maybe last fall, on 14th Street or 15th, the one by KO gas station. Not
14th,
KO, what is that
the,
anyway?
the Duke Duchess,
Yeah, Duke Dutchess,
14th,
yeah.
yeah.
I called it, there's that one tree, it's still totally dead. There's not, it's in a lady's front yard though, and there's not one leaf on it. And I know that I got calls from the neighbors concerned about that falling. And I think at the time you might
I
have sent
believe we
Steve
sent
over
letters,
there,
yeah,
and
but.
they haven't done anything with it, so maybe
Okay,
we
I'll try
can
to
send
follow up
somebody
on that.
back. Thank you, I'd appreciate it. Yeah, I drove by.
Was that on
today.
West 14th or was that on Ohio Avenue?
No, it was between West 14th, Lake and Ohio.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know, one, Pennsylvania, Michigan.
I know we
of
had
those.
one on Ohio Avenue that was in somebody's front yard too that had,
This one is
Yeah.
a big tree,
Okay.
there's not a leaf on it, yeah.
okay.
Mr. Manager, will we get that list the next
It'll be in the
time?
ordinance, yeah, it'll be the attachment from Brobst. Yep.
Okay. And how much is the NOPEC amount that we normally get?
It varies year to year, but we typically don't spend it all in one year. I think we have 3 years to spend
Okay.
the monies that we get each year. There's certainly enough to cover this project in there.
Okay.
Mr. President,
Yeah.
I have a couple things for the manager,
Yeah,
if
go
it's
right
okay.
ahead, sir.
I have one other.
Oh, I'm
question,
sorry.
so
I'm
if you-
sorry.
If you don't, just so I can finish out my report. I have one more appointment to the Park and Rec Board that needs a voice vote from council. So I'd like to appoint Jacob Dinsmore, effective immediately with the term to expire in 5/21/2030. And I just need a voice vote on that, please.
Now you need a voice vote?
Yeah, we can do that during this meeting, yeah.
Who, do we know this Jacob Dinsmore?
Yeah, he's sitting right there.
Oh, all right,
Yep.
Jacob, that's what I-
Jacob's been coming to a lot of our meetings and
Yeah.
expressed
His
interest
name.
and sent me his application last week or the week prior.
all right, well, welcome, Jacob.
Mr. President, I do want to add that Jacob has attended many of the Parks Board meetings. He, I think, attends most all the city council meetings. He's been a very active person in city government.
All in favor of adding Jacob Dinsmore to our Park and Recreation Board?
Yes.
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 Aye.
Any noes? Jacob, you are appointed by a 6-0 vote, so you're good to go.
Thank you. Just one last thing, I sent this out to council earlier today, but wanted to make it known, we are going to post it on our social media as well tomorrow. As you know, we had to replace the flashing lights at the top of Mary Street Hill East 24th Street there and Harbor Avenue. And in doing so, we had to review the intersection and to bring it up to today's standard per the manual of traffic devices, I think it's called. We have to do some changes to that intersection on the way it flows. I really don't think it's going to be much of an issue, but it is a slight change. Currently, East 24th Street has the right-of-way, whether it turns right or left onto Harbor Avenue. That will remain the same. So as you're coming up the hill, you can go right or left. No, it's just kind of a yield. You don't need to stop. Traffic flows, that has the right-of-way. What we can no longer do, if you're heading south on Harbor Avenue as you approach the intersection at East 21st Street, it used to be a caution to go down the hill on East 24th Street or a stop to go straight. You can't have two movements in the same intersection anymore, so that has to become a full stop now. So instead of just the gradual kind of yield and turn down the hill, you actually are going to have to come to a stop. So we're going to paint a stop bar. We're going to put out a stop sign with a sign on it that says traffic from the right does not stop. So people are aware of that for those going straight. And then, of course, you still have the stop sign on the other side, on the south side of the intersection as you head north on Harbor Avenue, or if you were to turn to head west onto East 24th Street. So a little change, but I'm sure people will notice it, so we wanted to get that information out there. I believe they have put the lights up, but they're bagged right now until we get all of this other equipment ordered and painted and the stop signs put up. So, and again, we'll put that out on our social media channels. I think it's scheduled for tomorrow. That's all I have for my report right now.
Are there any questions for the manager?
I do, Mr. President.
Go right ahead.
When you were talking about trees, there was a tree incident at the end of East 23rd, which we cleaned up. The road was blocked, which, you know, they got right on that. That was great. But the trunk, I guess, that is leaning against the power wire. I mean,
So we have to wait for the utilities to take care of that. We can't cut when it's around the
okay, I think they were there, and that's what I was told by the guy that lives across the street.
I can check on
To
it
make a
tomorrow.
long story
but-
short, when I went over there the other day, that was still, looked like they could snap that
Okay.
power cord.
Is it, I'm guessing it's on the lower lines, not
Yes,
the
it's on the
very top
lower-
one?
it's on the
Okay.
lower lines.
So lower ones are the communication, that's phone and cable, and they are very slow to respond to those types of things. If you head on Lake Road, as you head towards Geneva on the Lake, just past Saybrook, or just before you get to Saybrook Park, there are two trees, I believe, on each side of the road that have been hanging on those
seen 'em.
utility poles for probably 2 months now.
I've seen them.
Yeah, but we'll make inquiries to see if they will speed that up. That's East 20, you said East 23rd Street?
East 23rd. Okay. And then the second thing is I got approached by a citizen about these hometown hero banners that everybody seems to have except us. I noticed they're in Conneaut, they're in Asheville Township, they're in Painesville. I'm not sure about Geneva, but Geneva has them too. And I don't know what committee that should be sent to, but I was asked if we could look into having them.
It's
It's kind of patriotic. I mean,
But
I can see
understand
it.
it's a program, there, where a company actually comes out and does it,
Right.
sells it, does all the things. There has to be agreements with the illuminating company for those. They have a standard process, I guess, for this. But there is a program that a company takes care of, and does all the selling and everything of.
I guess on behalf of my constituent, I'm requesting that, can we look into that? I mean, I don't know where that would,
Where would you like them to go?
Can I interject something? Because this is a conversation you and I had a while ago, and you said on Main Avenue, those are our poles.
Those
that-
are our poles on Main Avenue, yes.
And I know the Parks Board had wanted, because a lot of the people on the Parks Board are veterans, and they did want to do that. It's just things have been torn up.
well, like Asheville Townships are right on Route 20. I mean,
Yeah, they are.
I don't know exactly. I'm assuming that people are going to want those on the traveled roads that people are going to see. Yeah, Yeah, I don't know what committee that would go to, but I think, I mean, it's worth looking into, definitely.
I agree.
That'd be your committee.
Yeah, I'm willing to spearhead that, Terry.
What, is that your, I mean, I'm not sure where that
Community
patriotic
development.
stuff, I don't know where that falls in. I'm pretty sure it's not safety forces, so
I mean, I guess possibly Public Works, because it's a utility, Public Works Utility Schools. We have to coordinate with the illuminating company.
all right, which I'm thinking is not, they're letting them do everywhere else, so I'm assuming
Doesn't
that they're
matter.
allowed. And I know, when I asked the guy from Asheville Township about it, it didn't cost them anything. They charged like $300 for those. So,
I have all the info too for that.
oh, that's great.
Go ahead, Russ.
Mr. Manager, I have a question just regarding the
Mr.
HVAC
Simeoni.
units.
Oh, Mr. Simeoni, do you mind, can I
Yeah, go
interrupt you just for a second? I'm just wondering if that request has to come from council to go to that committee first to take that up? Or we just change the subject?
Mr. President, yes, I think it would be procedurally appropriate for council to request a specific committee to investigate and report back on the costs and whatnot.
And Mr. Timmy, you think Public Works might be a good place?
Either Jane's committee or, I'm sorry,
Well,
Mr. Giacomo's committee or
If you put
Public
it in
Works. I
Public
don't-
Works, I'll just
The only
give
reason I said
Jody
Public
the
Works is because of,
information.
it's going on a utility.
Utility
pole, but,
poles and stuff.
I mean, it's
matter,
there's certainly a
whatever-
community.
Wherever you would like, either one of us are happy to do it.
If you already have all the information, do you have it from the company?
Yeah, I
Or do
got
you
all
have
that
it from
stuff from
Asheville Township?
Bambi.
Okay.
And then if you need anything coordinated with,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll just,
We'll work together.
there you go.
Well, I'd like to make that request then, Mr. President, for that to,
There's
Which committee,
second,
though?
and all in favor?
Which committee?
I think it's gonna go to Mrs. DeGiacomo's.
Economic Development Committee?
You can, yeah.
Okay.
And we'll
All
work
in
together.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, thank you.
So, Mr. Manager, the one thing that I was wondering on, like with the HVAC, do we have a contract with, okay, and.
We have
all right,
maintenance contracts where they come out twice a year,
And do like the
service,
PMs
service
and all.
the machines, yes.
Okay, all right, I just wanted, and I didn't
In
know. if-
all of our buildings.
Yeah, okay. And I'm assuming that that's something that when time comes, we kind of,
Yep.
Put
So
that
I
out.
think the services are done in March and August,
okay,
so.
okay.
Yep.
Just wondered.
Mr. Manager, do we have the sign yet on Bridge Street? The,
We do not. That's something I
Seating.
did review with the, was Mr. Melnick. We do have to pick the spot, and I actually discussed this with Chief last week. We have to pick the spot for
Okay.
Bridge Street. But the mobile one, we have to decide on some locations for that as well. And I think right now it's just, we're looking at the interface of what equipment we need so that we can pull data and program it. I think it's just gonna be an iPhone that we need to do that.
and I was going to ask you, and I know that was sad, we had that incident at the beach. And I know we've had, through the years, different signs and that. So are we on board with, how's the staffing for lifeguards at the beach?
As far as I know, so far, they have been guarding the beach. That started last week, I think it was.
Okay,
And they've been there. I've been told it's a priority of theirs to staff the beach before their pool, so.
okay. And concessions are open. And I wanted to thank, I sent you about, well, yesterday when I was out on complaints and driving in the rain, and I must have sent you a dozen or so last night. And then Steve already went out today, door hangers out or whatever, but the long grass, is it just me or is it, I don't know with the weather or that, when, tons of long grass? Are you seeing more?
I think we're seeing more in visible locations than we have before.
Okay.
But our part-time person is mowing every day, and with the
I
weather
believe it.
that it's been dry,
Yeah.
they've been able to mow quite a bit.
So did they have to, because I had numerous complaints, Because you never know if it's township or city, that Greenleaf, that one open spot that was like 3 feet tall.
There's a new owner over there, so they were trying to get in touch with the new owner who's in California.
And we cut it.
I believe
It
we
was,
did.
because it looks, people called me and said thanks. I was like, oh, I'm not sure.
One
if
thing
we
that
did it.
as we've been looking at the ordinance, the ordinance says for the first notification, we must mail it or make delivery. But it also says in there that we have to post it once a year in the paper and blah, 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 about reminding people to cut their grass. PCD and I will be working on that with the solicitor's office to see if there's a way to eliminate that mailing. I mean, at this point, if you don't know to mow the grass, tough. I mean, that should be
Yeah, because
common
that
sense by
process
now.
goes, that's a couple
Yeah.
weeks, and then it's going,
Well, and with postage right now, almost $1 per letter, it's getting a little bit ridiculous. So
okay, thank you.
money and time can be better spent on other things than reminding people to mow their lawns.
Oh, I'm sorry, I had one more thing, and I know people have asked me about this. Any follow-up on golf carts, how that's going with getting their tags and I know silly things, but I see no one's driving with their lights on. That's one of the things they're supposed to do, but I just didn't know how that's going.
We could have a report for this week's Safety Forces meeting if you'd like.
That'd be great. Just had a few estimates.
So I think, because I've been seeing them out there, and I don't know where to look for the inspection or stickers or.
Right, where
whatever.
and the stickers go in the back, right? In the back? What, are they a certain color or?
I don't know color there, to be honest with you. They're not real big. They're about that big, a couple inches wide.
Okay,
Are they kind of like,
We can see them, you know, from behind, but, I mean, their golf carts aren't that big, so they're not.
are they kind of like boat stickers?
Kind of, you know, like your license.
like it got a registration?
Of your sticker that you get when you renew your plates.
Okay.
Mr. President,
Yes.
do the police actually pull them over if they don't have a sticker?
We can and we will. I can't tell you right now how many we have down there. I know we're doing inspections, issuing stickers, I know we're doing that.
Is there a window of time we're affording applicants before we start fining or pull them over? Just give them, is there a sort of grace period by which they need to have?
I don't think we've established any type of grace period for it, no.
Just anytime they're supposed to be on the road, they need to have it.
Correct.
Okay.
I think the information's been out there long enough about it.
Thank you.
Mr. President, so a lot of things, I'm going to sound, are you still got one?
Yes.
Sorry, go.
I did get the email you mentioned about the hazard mitigation plan, and honestly, didn't read it. But is there a high-level summary so we can get an essence of?
You know, I had actually mentioned about possibly having the EMA and our staffs attend one of the community development meetings in light of our last conversation to go over, you know, what happens in emergency plans. You know, because I think the meeting was extremely good information was presented at the meeting, but it left a little bit of question like, you know, where are places and how do we do this and how do we, so it left some questions that I think this plan, our emergency management agency and our staff can better answer. And there's some of those things where we're not going to answer because of safety concerns. For instance, the location that everybody's going to go to in the event of X. Well, if everybody knows where that location is way ahead of time, that could be a target for a terrorist activity. You know, so there's different things that, yes, we'll be really upfront and forward with, but the plan will tell you who's in charge, who's putting information out there, what the roles are of the fire department, police department, public works, all that fun stuff. So this is just an update of the plan that we're all kind of used to, just looking at today's technologies and different things like that. So that's as high level I can give you with it. Yeah.
But it'll come in the near future to the community
If
development.
you would like to arrange it, I'll be happy to make those contacts for you,
Do that.
depending on your schedules.
September's open.
Okay. I can reach out and ask if you'd like. Okay.
And my final question is around the tree removal request. Is this connected with the ordinance from Parks that says no?
This is not. So this is, these are trees that are on tree lawns The ordinance that we did was specific to trees removed in parks. However, as we kind of mentioned during the community development meeting as well, with the new ordinance, or with the new zoning, we'd like to put recommended trees, native trees as replacements. And that is certainly something that as we remove trees from tree lawns, we can ask the owners if they would like a tree in their yard, or potentially look at replacing ones in tree lawns, knowing that the heights are not going to be anywhere near what they are today, the canopies are not going to be anywhere near what they are today, but just to be able to replace it with something. It'll be more decorative than shade, I guess you would say.
They will be?
The trees for the tree lawns, that would be recommended, yes, so that they don't grow up into power lines, so that the power company doesn't come along and shave a V in the middle of them where you see on roads where the trees look horrible. They would be more specific for under utility. So they'd be, I don't want to say a shrub, but whatever a dwarf type tree would be that only grows, you know,
So
8 to
high.
10 feet high. Yeah.
Okay. And a resident did mention a tree that the city cut down on Seymour Drive
Okay.
and had some questions about their responsibility to replace the sidewalks because the sidewalk is all cracked up as a result of it.
Typically, the sidewalk is still the responsibility of the property owner unless it was damaged while we were taking the tree down. But if it was from roots, typically we take the tree down in order for the resident to be able to replace the sidewalk.
All right, I've got, some of these have been covered, but I'm just going to go through them. These are resident concerns. Residents are continue to express concerns about speeding in neighborhoods. This remains a quality of life and safety issue, particularly for families with children.
Also, at the Safety Forces meeting, I'll have the chief speak on another group that we've put together to address traffic.
Thank you. This is probably, I know this isn't Safety Force, this is right now in Safety Force, but ongoing complaints regarding e-bikes and scooters being operated on sidewalks. Residents are concerned about pedestrian safety and are asking what can be done to improve compliance. And several residents have asked me about the moratorium on thrift stores. Apparently, one has just opened up on Main Avenue, and they're asking what regulations currently exist and whether there are any plans to revisit that discussion.
I would have to go back to look at that legislation we did on thrift stores, but we are not aware, or they did not come in and tell us they were opening a thrift store that end of Main Avenue, so that'll be addressed tomorrow.
Then I've received questions. I don't know what the name of this plaza is. What's the plaza near Smithfield?
There's
It's
not
all
really
empty.
a name of it, but yes.
Residents have noticed its deteriorating condition, are wondering if there's any redevelopment plans or conversations taking place regarding that property.
So the property is actually getting better. They've been working on it probably for the last 8 months.
Okay?
I believe the end closest to Smithfield may actually even have a tenant, but I'm not positive
have
if
a
they're
what?
a tenant. I don't know
Oh.
if they're in there yet. It's a small manufacturing tenant.
Oh,
I don't know if
that's
they've
nice.
opened yet.
I do see people in there at the very end ones. I see like some, I don't know, like tools and stuff. I see them doing things in there.
Yeah, I was in there at the probably fall of last year. A lot of work has been done to the inside. I know there was a backlog on HVAC units and things that they were waiting for. They extended the parapet of the top of the building up, but the inside has been pretty much cleaned out and ready for tenants.
Nice, nice.
Throughout the entire building?
Yes, yes. I believe
good.
it's at least to the halfway point. I don't know how far south, but most of the building is ready for a tenant, yeah.
That's good news. And then residents have also pointed out the Bunker Hill Market property at the top of the hill, the overgrown weeds, general appearance, continue to be an eyesore, and they're asking if code enforcement can address it.
when we
Yeah,
do
you're on
several
it.
times a year.
Okay. And then the golf carts, the only thing I could add to the questions, they're wondering how many carts have been inspected and certified. And the second question is, they have expressed concern that some golf carts being operated by members of the Amish community may not be properly licensed or certified. And can administration clarify whether they are aware of such issues and how compliance is being monitored?
Mr. President,
Yes.
I wasn't going to bring that up, but there's by my house, there had to be a family of 10 of Amish people on a single golf cart. I mean, and you know, I know that they want to have fun, but someone's going to get hurt. I mean, no safety belts. There had to be 5 people in the front and 5 or 6 in the back. That's a problem. And I'm all for golf carts, but I mean that they're taking it to another level there.
I just say, you know, we have these concerns about golf carts and the e-bikes and such. And I think we hear, when we notice these things or when these things are apparent, then we have to call the police and report them, because the police can't be everywhere at once. They can't catch every speeder in town. They can't catch every golf cart in town. So I think we just need to keep that in mind. Tell our residents when they see something that's not appropriate, you gotta call the police, you know.
Can you refresh my memory? You do have to have a driver's license to drive a golf cart, correct?
I believe it is. I think you have to have an
Because I don't think
operator's license
Amish people have driver's licenses.
don't know.
And in that situation, it might just be they're ignorant to the rule. They're not doing it on purpose. They just might not know, but
I think at one time I got an email saying we had 14 golf carts inspected earlier this summer, 14. And I know there's a lot more than 14 around town. But there again, you see one and you don't think it's appropriate, we have to call the police and let them know, you know. And that's I think that's, you know, they bring it to council, which is good, that's where it should come. But every citizen has an obligation. If they see something inappropriate, then they should feel free to call the police and let them know about it.
When it comes to bikes, e-bikes, all that stuff too, I think, you know, I mentioned to you that we were applying for a traffic safety grant. We have not heard back yet on that, but a big portion of that is going to be all types of transportation, including bikes and e-bikes. So, you know, some of our very wide streets where we don't need to be that wide, and we can put a 4 or 5 foot bike lane down each side to help with some of the safety. We have to be a little bit more open to those discussions and having those painted on the roads.
Mr. President,
Yes.
can I ask Mr. Manager, so we're getting Main Avenue nicely fixed up and everything. So my question is, the Park Avenue corridor right behind it, it's looking real disheveled, and Park Haven has like a tree that's come down, and the Carlisle's is overgrown, and then you have, like, St. Angelo's Gage is trying to sell their property, and the Star Beacon across the street is trying to sell their property, and when you kind of drive around there, it's looking a little, so I didn't know if, where we're at with the Park Haven or any of those.
Park Haven is, I mean,
Owners.
we've taken them to court. They're a Florida-based company, have not heard back from them in quite some time. We are on renewed in JCI constantly to mow the parking lot. It's sad to say, but yes, we constantly have to call them about that, which is,
That
we've
looks
done
bad.
again. Yeah, those 2 areas are always a concern with us.
Yeah, because there's nice buildings if somebody wants to try to sell them, because once they move out of a building, we know how that goes, and then it starts to deteriorate, and then what you could get for somebody coming in and investing is, once it sits empty, it's.
One thing I didn't mention at the community development meeting, we had just submitted I had mentioned before, Opportunity Zone 2.0, that is starting. This Friday is the deadline for submission of new census tracts. I have nominated the Main Avenue Census Tract for this round of Opportunity Zone. The last one that we had was pretty much a useless census tract. There was no room for development. It was mostly a residential area. This new census tract obviously has quite a bit of opportunity for development. I also was able to discuss the census tract with the county commissioners, with Growth Partnership, and also with Lake to River and Eastgate. And I'm hopeful that all of those agencies will also recommend that census tract for approval. Eventually, the governor will have to make those appointments of that census tract, but I feel pretty confident that we'll get that one in there. That will open up some opportunity for funding from investors for the Main Avenue area as well, on top of everything we're doing today.
And just the last thing, I drove by the Welcome Home project on Station. So, and I was driving by some of the other properties. So, and I haven't, they're not starting yet on,
They haven't started on the other properties,
Okay.
but we're hopeful that they'll get finished with the one that's up soon. They've had to make a few little modifications to it. I believe electric was in there last week, getting electric hooked up.
Okay.
So it's moving along.
and do we have a buyer?
I don't think we have a buyer, but the last I heard, I think there were 12 people that have started or in the process of getting all their approvals. I don't think anybody has taken it all the way through to
Okay.
approval yet.
That's good, that's a lot. All right, thank you.
We have running late, so I think we need to go on. Mr. Khan, do you have anything for us this evening?
Thank you, Mr. President. We have several items, and the first item is an ordinance to make supplemental changes to appropriations in the general fund and all other funds listed on Exhibit A for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Ashtabula, State of Ohio, for the period of January 1st through December 31st, 2026, in the amount of $802,685.75. The breakdown of this request is on the last pages. Our next item is an ordinance authorizing compensation, salaries, and wages to employees of the Ashtabula City Municipal Court and probation divisions. The exhibit is on the last page, and for this to happen, we need to repeal ordinance number 2026-88 that is reflected in the ordinance number 2026-1127. And the last item is an ordinance adopting the tax budget of the City of Ashtabula for the fiscal year beginning on January 1st, 2027, and submitting the same to the Ashtabula County, Ohio Budget Commission. And the public hearing was on June 15th, 2026.
So just a couple of questions, Mr. Khan. We passed, when did, no, I'm trying to find it in my paperwork. When did we pass 2688 that we're repealing tonight? It obviously was this year, probably earlier this year.
May 4th.
May 4th. Yeah, that's what I had read earlier. So I guess my question is, why are we repealing an ordinance that's just like a month and a half old? It's the payroll ordinance for the court. What has happened in a month and a half that?
So, off the top of my head, I believe on May 4th, the ordinance was tabled.
Okay.
And then there was an updated version with a clerical error stating that changes were supposed to be done immediately, effective immediately, but the language should have been effective May 4th. So to correct that error for, I believe, 2 court employees, we need to pass an updated ordinance.
Okay, so this ordinance is correcting the previous one we passed.
That's correct.
So, Mr. President, if I might, what happened was the judge issued the order making the pay changes effective immediately. The ordinance was brought to council to comply with that court order. Council tabled the ordinance, then brought it back and council approved it, but there was a 30-day wait period for it to take effect because of the number of counselors that voted for it. So in the meantime, at least one employee has not been paid what the judge ordered she be paid. So this ordinance would allow the city to pay her the back wages that she's entitled to pursuant to the court order.
Okay. All right, thank you. I
Mr.
I was
Mr.
sort of
President.
all over that. Yes,
I,
Mr. Guerrero.
I'd like to talk about 126. I mean, asking for $800,000 isn't like asking for $50. I mean, what exactly is? Or we're just short in all the departments, or
No,
what?
That's on page 55.
so is it ordinance 126? The
Yes.
supplemental appropriations. So it's not that bad as it looks like, because it's a,
Looks pretty bad.
and it's not, fortunately. So I believe the city is moving towards purchasing recycled totes, and the cost was about $300,000, less some leftovers from the recycle grant fund, which brought us to $235,000, about over $235,000. But in order for this to happen, it's too technical to explain. We need to reflect this transfer in several funds. So compounded, that's brought us to $800,000. Because for a transfer to happen, I need to reflect it in the general fund first as a transfer out. In addition to that, we need to reflect this in the sanitation operating account lines. So that alone is a significant amount of money. In addition to that, we're also transferring funds for the purchase of the 7400 garbage truck, which is $63,500, which was approved last city council meeting, and it's the same procedure. I need to reflect $63,500 in the general fund as a transfer out, and as an capital purchase in the sanitation fund. It's a purely budgeting accounting mechanism.
So correct me if I'm wrong, we did not approve the garbage thing yet, right?
That's today,
But we're transferring the money
in anticipation.
in anticipation, okay.
And what fund did that come out of?
General fund,
The general fund?
yeah.
Our general fund, that's $800,000 in debt for the end of the year? Our budget is predicting $800,000 in debt?
It's not, there are required duplicates for accounting purposes, and it's not really $800,000.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
If you look at the last page of the ordinance, you'll see the garbage truck is listed twice in the increase side. The recycling toters are listed twice on that side. So it's not a true, it's an accounting method, as Mr. Khan's trying to explain.
Yeah.
It's not a true $800,000 that's being moved around.
Well, what is it?
Or
a
expended.
true? 300 for the totes, 70,000 for the
60.
garbage truck. Or what am I missing?
And there's a few other lines where there's increases that are, I mean, it's all listed in the ordinance. He's got it detailed out for the increases on the last two pages of the ordinance.
So due to the,
I guess I'm reading this wrong. I'm on page 44 of 82 of this packet here.
55.
It's almost double, it's gonna show as
Almost
almost
double.
double.
Correct.
Because
Easier to
that,
see that.
the
'Cause you have to
totes
put
and
it
the
in both
truck are
places.
in there twice.
Correct.
55, yeah.
And then would that go back in, like, when you reconcile things, would that then go back into the fund since it wasn't really taken out twice?
right, that's accurate. The only effect on the general fund is, it's just one time.
Mr. President,
Yes.
and this might be for the city manager, when it comes to the carryover funds from the paving levy, just what typically done with that? Is it for emergencies or whatever? It's at almost $300,000 left.
No, so, well, first off, the paving levy right now, we haven't expended for the 2026 paving project, so that's still hanging out there. We haven't started that project yet with Koski. But if you recall, the way that we do that levy, we spend the second half of the prior year and the first half of the year in which we're going to pave. We combine those two numbers for the paving project. So the carryover is typically the second half collected in each year. And then we use that plus first half to budget for the next year's.
So again,
Paving
it's
project.
just on paper,
It's just on
basically.
paper. Well, the funds are actually there because we received those from the county, but
It's not a real carryover.
It is a
shows
real
on paper,
carryover.
But to be earmarked for next year's
right,
projects.
yes. Now, if an emergency were to happen, we have that cushion, but that only lessens the project for the following year.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Mr. Khan, can I ask you, so on the health insurance, I know COBRA rates increased, but the full-time health commissioner, is that a new position or is that a,
It's the same position that we budgeted as part-time last year.
okay. And then for the fuel, there's like $50,000, but it says fuel consumption and market fuel prices. So did we do more that we needed more fuel, or is that really just the price,
The price increase.
price increase? Okay, gotcha, thank you.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Mr. Khan, appreciate it. We have a few
Oh,
minutes left.
Mr.
before we go on.
President?
Yes,
Mr. President, I did want to ask Mr. Khan, the thing for the court, the position, there was something on the new ordinance that was not on 2026-88, was an intern, the lump sum intern. So is that the difference? Is it 500 or 2,500?
It's the range, and it falls under the judges section in the payroll ordinance because they're going to pay that stipend out of the court special fund project. The range is 500 to 2,500. I assume, depending on the hours, but as of today, we have a journal entry for $2,000.
Okay,
The only concern is that, like, it's a stipend and it's not pensionable, and we found out all the details that we
okay.
required to do.
I didn't know if it was like a, like when you have college interns or whatever, they just
It's a college.
come
intern.
for free normally. I didn't know if they got paid or how that works.
A lot of interns now are paid. The free internships are not,
Thing of the
I would
past.
have known that.
Never got that, I know.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Khan.
Ms. Cooper, do you have anything for us this evening? No, sir. Oh, that's good, because we're running out of time. No, Ms. Milberg, do you have anything for us?
No, I don't have anything.
Okay, very good. Okay, so we have our committee reports. I don't think we're gonna have enough time to start them. So I think what we will do is, we will start our meeting at 7. We will begin our meeting with a presentation after our prayer and pledge led by Mr. Simeone. Then we will have a presentation, and then we will go back to our pre-council agenda, and then after that, we will approve our order of agenda and go from there. Is that okay?
So we're going to finish up everything in pre-council, in council, is what I hear you saying?
Yes.
Okay.
yes, Yes, because at 7, people expect us to start our council meeting, and we have, half of our agenda left here from pre-council. So we will still cover everything, it'll just be
That's fine.
delayed kind of thing. Okay?
Because my report's coming along.
There's no,
I was going to speed read, but now I don't have to. I was going to go.
I'll go along.
the only committee report should be
There's 2.
with 2. You have one, Ms. Mills?
Yes.
Mrs. Mills?
Yes, and I did try to cut it down, but it's still long. Sorry.
Okay, yeah, so we'll have 2 committee reports then, Economic and then Public Works, right? public, yes,
And we'll still be able to discuss legislation?
after the committee report, yes.
Okay, thank you.
So we will begin in 4 minutes, I guess. But effective, that's what I thought. I'm going to call the regular council meeting for the city of Ashtabula to order. Today is Monday, July 6th, 2026. If at this time, we would please stand for the prayer and the pledge.
Heavenly Father, we ask you to let your inspiration precede this council's actions and all present here today, and your assistance further us, so that every word and work of ours may take its beginning from you, and, so begun, may through you reach its completion. Amen. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Would you please call the roll, Ms. Milberg?
Ms. Holman,
Present.
Mrs. Mills,
Here.
Mrs. DiGiacomo,
Here.
Mr. Guerrero,
Here.
Mr. Simeone,
Here.
Mr. Roskovich,
Here.
Mr. Timonier,
Here.
Ms. Cooper. Here. Mr. Khan.
Here.
All council is here. We have no absences, and so we have no reason to excuse anyone. We have the Sunshine Law certification. At this point, we're going to deviate from our regular agenda schedule for a presentation, and then when we come after our presentation, we will go back to our pre-council, finish our pre-council agenda. So at this time, we are going to recognize our recently, I don't want to say departed, our recently resigned counselor, Mrs. Foglio. And so while I'm doing that, Mrs. Mills, you have something. Mrs. Mills had some comments for the newspaper that didn't make it, but she wanted to share them anyway. So would you do that at that time?
Sure. And Eric, this time you were like too quick on it. So I get an email and I'm like, I've got to get to this. I've got to get to this. And I thought I had more time. And then when I did, it was like, time's up. So I had sent a little something, few little sentiments about Mrs. Foglio, about Kim. And I had wrote, Eric, it has been a privilege to serve Ashtabula City alongside Counselor Kim Foglio. When I first became a counselor, I recall that Kim was always so helpful and willing to answer any question to help me as needed. I respect her work ethics and professionalism and know that she is always guided for what is the best for the residents in the city. Kim is a sounding board, mentor, and advocate for our constituents. Kim has quiet dedication and does not need to toot her own horn. I have thoroughly enjoyed being on many hiring committees with her, the recent being the Master Plan Steering Committee, and attending ribbon cuttings with her. I will miss her keen eye on finance and budgeting. I will fondly look back on the time we spent collaborating on projects together. Thank you for giving so much of your heart and time to public service. You will be greatly missed in the chambers. Kind regards, Jody. And I will say this, these are big shoes to fill because, and those shoes, those heels, and the way she's always put together, I will miss that as well. So I wish you well on life's next chapter. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Mills. Would you like to come up, Mrs. Foglio? We started, I don't know how many years back, when counselors leave, either through not running for reelection or whatever cause, we decided that we want to recognize them for their service, because it takes something to be a counselor, especially in this day and age, a lot of criticism and, just a lot of things. So we want them to know that we appreciate So we started awarding a plaques, and you get your name tag.
Thank you. Put it on my desk.
So I just want to mention, Kim and I have known each other since grade school. And so, like Jody, I'm going to feel a real loss not having Kim sitting next to me all the time, tapping my hand when I should calm down, and then I do the same for
Duct tape.
Yeah, so. But I want to take just a moment. I want to recognize Kim's mom, Mrs. Vendetti. You may recognize her from TV. She was recently featured on the news, 93 years old, still serving lemonade, and that's a great thing. And then Mr. Foglio, Dean, Kim's husband, and we know that takes a lot to be a spouse of a counselor, so it really does. I was a Ward 1 counselor for 2 years, and then President Obama said, hey, if there's a job open, you Democrats should go for it. And so then I ran for council president. Fortunately, I was elected. And I was sitting thinking, who's going to be able to fill my shoes? Those are some big shoes. No, I did not think that. But we were at a meeting about church. Yeah. Oh, we were at a church meeting, and I told Dean, I said, hey, we're looking for the Ward 1 counselor. And he says, I know the exact person. And then he called Kim over. And Dean, you were right. She was the exact person, a perfect fit. And we have been so lucky to have you here. You've done such a good job, conscientious, even-keeled, knowledgeable. You worked for the city for so many years, so knowledgeable about the way the city works and the employees and so forth. So I just want you to know it's been an honor to sit by you and work with you, and we're going to miss you. And this says in recognition and appreciation for your years of service to the residents of Ward 1 and really to the whole city of Ashtabula, because we are going to miss you. I told her. And I told her that, Dean don't want to hear this, but there's Sabre Cash trustees now.
Yes, I know.
No.
I'm aware.
Yes. So Kim, you want to
Yes.
say anything?
Yes, but I'm going to go back here because I need to use my hands.
Okay, go right ahead.
I'm Italian, have to use my hands. So if you don't mind, I'm sorry, Jacob, my back is to you. Does this go in this? Okay. 9 years ago, I sat in the Harbor Topke Library with 15 other candidates being interviewed for the position of Ward 1 counselor. After Mr. Roskovich won the president of council, Mr. Roskovich and I were at a church meeting, as he said, when he approached my husband and asked if he would like to be the Ward 1 counselor. And he politely declined. But I spoke up and said that I would love to do that. I submitted my resume, and the rest is history. As I joined council, I was seated amongst some of the icons, the late Richard Caranta, Augie Pugliese, and Chris McClure, all of whom were so kind and so helpful to me, and I learned from them how to be a good counselor. I was joined then by Michael Spielman to my right and Calvin Crawford to my left, and they were so much fun. I couldn't wait to get there. Council at that time was really fun. I really felt like I was doing something for the city of Ashtabula. Now, we didn't always agree as a council. There were some heated arguments. But we always left and were very respectful of each other's opinions and of each other. This is something I don't see in council right now. I see some councilors who are trying to keep things going in a positive manner. However, I see other councilors who are here for their own personal agenda. May I remind you, there is no I in we. No one person can do anything without the help of the others. I've seen so much of what I call the I, me syndrome. I for I've done this, I've done that, pat yourself on the back. That's not why we're here. Social media and AI are dangerous places. And heaven knows I've taken more punishment on social media than anyone, maybe except for Jen and John. You guys have got it pretty good. But you know why that is? It's because I'm not telling you or AI generating any answers. I'm telling you what is the right thing. I'm not telling you what you want to hear. I'm not going to lie to my residents or pacify what they want to hear. And most of the time, that's not the popular thing to do, but it's the right thing to do. The counselors who do the most work are the silent ones, who serve their residents and don't ask to be patted on the back. That is what we're here for, and that's why you elected us. I'd like to speak to the group of people who have come to our council meetings and have made a mockery of what these meetings are all about. You know who you are. They aren't here tonight. And for 5 months, you have continued to disrespect, be utterly rude, and immature. You have bullied and threatened and have no idea of what serving the public really means. You have a lot to learn. In a few weeks, the Democratic Party will begin to interview for my position. Let me be clear. This is not a race. Nobody's running. The Democratic Party will be interviewing and then selecting the best person. So if you're out there and you want to run, please submit your letter of intent to the Democratic Party. Don't think you can't do it. Think you can do it. In closing, I would just like to take a minute to say some things personal to some of you. I'm going to start over here with Cecilia. Cecilia, you and Catherine are absolutely the dynamic duo. In all my years here, there has never been a truly full-time solicitor. The others before either had private practice or ran a business. You and Catherine are first full-timers. I appreciate everything you did for me for this council, although your answers weren't always what I wanted to hear, but I knew you were protecting the city, and someday I hope to call you Judge Cooper. Mr. Timonier, this is hard. You are the most hardworking city manager the city has seen. And I know because I've been here through 9 city managers, 9. You know the restaurant on Bridge Street, everybody knows the restaurant called Nights and Weekends? This is Nights and Weekends Gym. The job is never 8 to 4:30. It's being out with the snowplows with the drivers in a horrible winter storm, or being ankle deep in sewage after a back rain. This man, in 9 years I've been in council, has never taken a vacation. That's what running the city is all about. And although we don't always agree on everything you do a great job and what you have to do it with. I also have another name for Jim. It's Penny Pincher Jim, because no one stretches a penny like Jim. Jim, it's been a pleasure. Vlad, one of my most shining moments was being on the committee to hire you. You have been such a pleasant breath of fresh air to the city. Your reports are impeccable. Chef's kiss. His office is so organized, it's unbelievable. Mr. Khan, I wish you many good years here. Keep doing the great job you are. Ms. Milberg is another shining moment being on hiring committees. A hometown girl, raising her family and truly invested in our city. You are kind. You have always done everything I've asked of you, and I look forward to making the best of your career here with the city, and I promise you, I'm getting a new printer. Mr. Simeone, most people don't know that Russ and I worked together for many years at Our Lady of Peace Parish. He was a business manager, and of course, I'm the jack of all trades there. Russ, you are such a fair person. You look at the situation on all sides before making a decision. Please continue to be that person who thinks outside of the box as well as inside of the box, and it's been a pleasure. John, this is a hard one. My dear friend from the first grade through all 68 years of our life. Are you 68 now? Because I'm a year older. Okay. You have been the most fair, honest person I know. You are always so giving of your time and talents and never ask for anything in return. I will so miss seeing you and talking to you and you saying, "Hey, Kim, what do you know?" You are a selfless servant, and that is so hard to find these days. John, keep the faith. Terry, I have to confess I lied to you. Several years ago, I got a call from Mr. Guerrero. He told me he was interested in running for Ward 2, since Calvin Crawford was not seeking re-election. He said, "Hey, Kim, about how many hours a week would you say you have to put in?" And I told him, "Oh, Terry, it's easy. Just 2 meetings and whatever phone calls you get." Now, I lied to Mr. Guerrero because it's for a reason, because I knew what a wonderful counselor he would be. He cares about our city. He cared about his residents. And Terry, I am so proud of the counselor you have become, and I'm so sorry I lied. Not really, but I am. Ms. Mills, you and I have served on every hiring committee. We have had so much fun, and you're such a friend, especially to my mom. And I have to say, I taught Jody how to Google information on the internet, and I'll leave that as a private joke. Jody is by far the hardest working counselor. If you call her, she's there, not on the phone, but in person, and she'll get the job done. She attends so many meetings above and beyond her council obligations. As I said at the beginning of this speech, many counselors work tirelessly under the line of sight, and those truly are the counselors of great worth, and that is Jody. I want to thank everyone again and leave with a quote from Timothy chapter 2. As for me, I am being poured out like a libation, and the time for my departure is here. I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race, and I have kept the faith. I can leave this room now with my head held high, for I have served my residents and my city well. Thank you for the closure to my 43-year career here. Thank you all.
And like we always say, you're welcome to stay.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to go have a drink.
Thank you. Good.
Good luck. Thank you for your service. Wishing you well.
Okay, very good. Thank you for allowing that alteration of our agenda. We will go back to our committee reports, community development and economic development.
Yes. The Community Development, Economic Development, and Parks and Recreation Committee met on Wednesday, July 1st. The city manager provided updates on several ongoing projects. Code enforcement issued 185 letters of door hangers during June and scheduled 40 rental inspections. Year-to-date totals are now 485 code enforcement notices and 171 rental inspections. Harbor Ridge continues to require significant staff attention. The city manager's plan has been completed and will move to the Planning Commission for a review in August before coming to council for consideration. The related zoning update is also progressing. Downtown streetscape improvements continue with all the facade grant funding fully committed and multiple projects already under construction. Construction has also begun on Collins Boulevard. The committee learned that the Tannery Hill project received a $743,184 brownfield grant for environment cleanup remediation. In addition, the city received $295,000 community development block grant for improvements to the Rennick building. The city manager has also announced his intention to recommend repealing the temporary moratorium on accessory structures larger than 200 square feet, allowing current zoning regulations to apply until no new zoning code is adopted. The committee welcomed Ivanka Hall, Executive Director of Northeast Ohio Community Resilience Center, who presented information on building community resilience during extreme weather events. The presentation highlighted flood risk, emergency preparedness, community resilience, planning, tree canopy, and opportunities for local collaboration to better prepare our community for future emergencies. The Parks and Recreation Board reported on several initiatives, including continued improvement following this year's successful Memorial Day Parade. The board discussed park safety concerns, ongoing efforts to improve Walnut Beach, volunteer work toward a future skate park, additional recreation amenities, and preparations for the Big Boy locomotive visit on July 13th. Upcoming events include Bands on the Beach, movie night as West 38th Street Park in July, on July 17th, and volunteer cleanup in South Park on July 10th. We are looking for people, so please, if you are interested, meet us at the park at 9 o'clock. Bring your rakes, shovels, spades, gloves, and a special thank you to Jim Timonier, who will be providing pizza for all the volunteers. Our next committee meeting will be held on Wednesday, August 5th at 5:30, and the data center moratorium will be the discussion. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mrs. DiGiacomo. Finance and Personnel,
Mr. President?
yes.
Before we move on, would you give us the address for the park so folks know where to meet?
So it's in front of the Episcopal Church. I don't know the South Park address. It's South Park. Did I not say that?
You did say South Park. You did.
Sort of by
It's in, it's,
West 48, by the tracks. Main Avenue, Collins. There you go.
Across the street from Perry Park News, Main Avenue.
Yeah, 4901, as Mr. Ducro said, Main Avenue would be the best address for that. That's the address for the church.
Can I ask Mr. Ducro? I went by, the park doesn't look too bad. Are you doing more with the like the weeds edging kind of a thing? Can you, so we know exactly like what you're wanting to bring? Because it's not more like
No,
just picking up trash. It's,
There's only, 1, 2, 3, there's about 4 beds that need to be cleared up, hedges trimmed. I'd like to get, depending on who has the equipment, I'd prefer not to do it by spade. Hopefully we'll have a couple people with power edgers there, or weed trimmers that can do it. I'd like to get all the sidewalks edged, clean out the beds, mulch them, trim back the bushes, and just spruce it up. I mean, the Parks Committee's done a great job of, keeping the grass in good shape, but, weeds in between the cracks and, just try to have it look like it's brand spanking. That's the hope. And if we have a big turnout, maybe there's the possibility of splitting and sending some folks up to North Park too. I don't know. I've had quite a bit of people respond. Who's able to show up that day? We'll see. We'll see what happens. But
a lot of people have responded. They are excited.
do we have some city help to?
Yeah, our staff will be there,
Okay.
Mr. President, I'm sorry. Yes, Ms. Mills, our staff will be there. We're going to get mulch, so that'll be on hand to be able to spread mulch in those beds. We have a power edger as well, so
Okay.
we have a big one, so that will be.
I know we have a half a dozen yo kids, so, I'm sorry, a dozen yo kids, I think.
Okay.
So many hands make light work.
All right, thank you very much. We, going on with our Finance and Personnel, that committee will meet July 17th at 8:30 in the morning. Public Works, Public Utilities, Cable, and Schools.
Okay, we did have a meeting. I tried to condense it. I'll try to condense it some more if I can. That was on Tuesday, June 23rd here at 8:30 in the morning, and we did have a guest, Mrs. Lisa Newsom, the superintendent of the city schools. So she delivered a comprehensive update on the status of Lakeside High School reconstruction, district operations, strategic planning, and finances. She began by clarifying a common community misconception that only the academic wing of the building, which formed a U-shaped structure, was demolished, not the entire building. The demolition of the 2-story academic wing was completed in February of 2026. On March 23rd of 26, the board approved an agreement with Green Space for repair and replacement of the roof system of the remaining back portion of the building. That encompasses the auditorium, auxiliary gym, main gym, and 10 classrooms at a cost of $7.5 million. The interior of the back section was not damaged in the original incident. The decision was made to repair that part of the building so they could get back into part of the high school. The district still is in litigation with Liberty Mutual. She noted the parties have not yet entered mediation, estimated that could be 2 years before construction could formally begin under the current trajectory. She expressed a firm goal to vacate the temporary Lakeside 9 at Mother of Sorrows and return students to Lakeside High School campus from January through March of 2027, with the contractor's projected completion being April of 27. She noted they're ahead of schedule. Upon returning, the students will have access to the shop room, band room, art, weight room, choir, and a newly constructed science lab. The gym floor will be refinished. The organ that was donated by the late Bud Hill remains undamaged. She said adamantly the class of 2027 will graduate in the gym at Lakeside High School. That's exciting. They were planning to replace the entire roof. Liberty Mutual has offered to cover only $600,000 for a limited number of trusses. The district's position is that the entire roof system must be replaced, as a failure of one truss compromises the entire system. The district was covered for $288 million at the time of the loss, with all premiums paid. Liberty Mutual dropped the district's coverage the day after the snowfall event. A replacement insurer picked up the district 3 days later. She said also the elementary building sustained $500,000 in roof damage, attributing to the same snowstorm. And Liberty Mutual is also denying that. That claim has been added to the existing lawsuit. The district is actively pursuing avenues to obtain upfront funding to begin construction ahead of a legal settlement so that insurance proceeds can be used to repay those funds upon resolution. So the board, administration, and staff have a new strategic plan with 5 focuses on academics because those going through COVID are behind. So that's the 3rd grade reading and early literacy. They found that those ones missed a lot at that time. Family and community relationships, also operations, facilities, and transportation. One thing they did do was on the nutrition side, the district is returning food service management to in-house director, a change expected to save the district about $200,000. She noted the quality of food service has improved, with meals now prepared fresh rather than microwaved. Human resources and finance. The fiscal officer received an award for a clean audit with no findings, the 8th consecutive year. And also the district's renewal levy for technology and textbooks failed in May of 2026, and that was not for staffing or roofs. So explained that administration is working to establish a community levy committee composed of residents to improve public education and communication about really what the levy purposes are. Currently, the district stands at approximately 2,865 students. My vice chair, Mr. Guerrero, had asked some questions how this would work out with configuring getting students out of Mother of Sorrows. So she explained all the high school students will operate between 2 buildings, the Lakeside High School campus on Sanborn Road and the current Huron facility, with midday transportation accommodating students who need access to special programs like band, choir, art, science, lab, and shop at the high school campus in the morning and core courses at Huron. So moving them from that one area at Mother of Sorrows will be a cost savings as well. Some exciting news, the district has their annual Back to School Bash, I can't believe this already, Monday, August 10th, from 4 to 6 at the stadium. This year, they have 58 vendors, and they will have expected to draw over 1,200 attendees. They'll have free haircuts from 9 participating hairdressers, school supplies, schedules, vaccines, and physicals from the school-based clinic. And the first day of school is August 24th. So it was a great presentation and good information on what's happening with the school. Mr. Manager's report, there was 5 highlights. One was on Collins Boulevard project starting. And then the other, I was going to ask you about the pre-construction, the submissions from Koski.
We have yet to hear from Koski.
Okay. And the Main Avenue Streetscape project, sidewalk is working out well, transitioning to the east side. And we discussed light pole deliveries are sometime in July. No updates on light poles yet? Okay. And you mentioned about the traffic signal radar installation, West Avenue, Lake Avenue, Carpenter, is that? That's completed. Okay. Should that cause a better flow?
If you've been through that intersection, it is flowing much better right now.
Okay.
Yep.
I kind of noticed that, and I just wasn't sure if that was done yet. Water pollution control report, Mr. Verzella provided report. So exciting, the outfall relocation project is ongoing. So the first, you have to do those 4 mixing zone studies. So the spring one was done and completed, and they sent it in. And then, but now the summer one is already tentatively planned for July 1 to August 30th. So I was kind of questioning, like, hey, we haven't even got the results back, and then you have to send another one. So have we heard?
We have not received the full report yet. We want to submit to the EPA by the end of this week. So we haven't received it from the consultant yet.
Okay.
We should have that in the next day or two. The difficulty with scheduling these is the EPA is demanding a certain number of days where the slip does not have boat traffic. So we're trying to coordinate deliveries of boats with Kinder Morgan, making sure that the slip is not phased by incoming and outgoing traffic before we can schedule for the next study. So far, all of the reports or the data that we've received from the first mixing zone study is very favorable.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Good. Because we were wondering, oh my gosh, then if we miss this window, really it's not our fault or whatever, then do we have to wait like a whole nother year? Because they're seasonal, so.
So far, the data is pretty good.
Okay, good. The disinfection season is ongoing, running well. Preventative maintenance, they're still doing. Toxicity testing, they're working on. There was the equalization basin pump check valve issue that had to get repaired. Couple of maintenance things, but one of the main things regarding the capital improvement plan design. So GPD engineers have been on site extensively working to reconcile discrepancies between current conditions, and they have older archived records. Staff will also be participating. They do several community outreach events, which is really nice. I asked for clarification on timeline for the capital improvement plan. So Mr. Timonier explained the city took out 2 loans, one for the design of the plant and one for the design of the collection system. The design phase of the plant is currently underway. What Mark said, the challenge is that the design process has multi-engineering disciplines, the HVAC, structural, electrical, and you're using like 1950s facility standard. You're trying to bring it up to now. So he indicated that several large capital expenditures anticipated this year. He'd been deferring that to avoid exceeding the budget while this design phase is ongoing. So any updates on the design plan or?
The design phase for the plant, we should have preliminary design to look at next week.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And the intent is to have something out to bid by the end of this year. That is going to have to coordinate with yet another loan that we get. The design loan would then be rolled into construction loan. There's a whole process of how we keep stretching that money to not make a first payment for a while.
Okay, Vlad.
Vlad has been in on those
That's on
discussions
you.
for the loans, yes.
Okay, so Public Works report, Mr. Melnick. So the crews are out working painting, curb, drain repairs, sinkhole remediation, mowing, stump grinding. Several sinkholes have been traced to Enbridge gas driving pipeline through existing city storm lines, and city intends to pursue reimbursement from Enbridge for the associated repair cost. I know I've had quite a few that I've had pictures of sinkholes and sent over to work on those areas. So appreciate that. They're preparing for upcoming festivals, which I know there's busy with that, and doing some resurfacing where the sinkhole repairs have been completed. We discussed about proposed transition to curbside recycling. Reported staff are looking into the feasibility of leasing rather than purchasing dual rear-end trucks, split 60-40 for refuse and recycling that would allow simultaneously collection of garbage and recycle on the same day. At this time, sanitation is not in the position to do either. For the time being, the proposed collection would be moved to Monday through Thursday, garbage pickup with alternating Friday recycling pickup. And then we had talked about the solid waste district to meet about absorbing those costs, but that's been taken care of, correct, on the bins? Okay. City manager discussed future plans to pave Lake Avenue from West 24th to Route 20 in conjunction with Aqua Ohio's scheduled waterline replacement next year on the corridor. A preliminary cost estimate for the project, including curb replacement and driveway aprons, is excess of $2 million, approximately $1 million of which would be concrete work. Aqua Ohio is expected to contribute upwards of $300,000 toward the paving. City manager noted this would represent 2.5 years' worth of paving levy funds, and that identifying a funding source remains an ongoing effort. We got a lot of stuff accomplished, a lot of things going on, a lot of good things. Next meeting is Tuesday, July 28th, here at 8:30 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Mills. Those are busy meetings, I know.
It was.
Safety forces? Mr. Guerrero?
We'll be having a meeting, Mr. President, on Thursday at 8:30.
July 9th at 8:30. Okay, very good. Thank you, Mr. Guerrero. Planning Commission and Historic Preservation Commission, neither one has met. The Historic Preservation Committee is meeting this Wednesday. They have, I believe, a house that they're considering and a couple modifications to homes, but another complex going up down there in the Historic District. Okay, we will move on to our discussion of new business and proposed legislation. Is there anyone?
Yes, I have something. It's on the recycling. I want one city, one standard. For 9 years, residents in wards 3, 4, and 5 have paid the same trash fees as everyone else while receiving a lower level of service. One resident said something that has stayed with me. After 9 years, it's not a pilot program anymore, it's favoritism. I appreciate the concerns about fiscal responsibility. We all share that responsibility. I did reach out to our finance director, and his response was clear. The city can afford this purchase without jeopardizing our financial stability. So tonight, this comes down to fairness. Equal fees should mean equal services. My residents have waited 9 years. I believe they've waited long enough. Tonight, we have the opportunity to finally deliver on the promise of one city, one standard.
Can I just,
Mr. President?
yes, go ahead.
I so appreciate you being on board with this, Counselor Ward 5, and my residents too feel as it's way overdue for them to also be able to receive recycling bins and also contribute to our environment being safer and cleaner. And and it is also about environment. It's a lot of different things tied into one, so I appreciate the outreach to actually hear from our residents across the city. Thank you for that.
Okay, and I'm just going to add that I think what has transpired regarding this issue is really unfortunate. This has nothing really to do with recycling. Everybody on council is for recycling. We've been for it for so many years. And Mr. Timonir has been trying to get a grant for this for the longest time, and it just has not happened. And so now to jeopardize our city financial situation, because some people want to paint this as a favoritism issue. And I just want to say, how offensive is that to accuse this council and this administration of playing favoritism? It has nothing to do with that. And the city residents in 3, 4, and 5 are receiving the same service as the residents in 1, 2, and 3, part of 3. They're getting their garbage picked up, just like everybody else's. And they are paying the same fee as everybody else. Everybody is paying the same fee. In fact, I've had residents in Ward 1 and 2 ask me, can they take my recycling can? Because they're limited by how much garbage they can put out. Whereas the residents in the other parts of the city, some are putting out 5, 6 bags at a time if you drive down these streets on trash collection day. So this has really nothing to do with something being unfair. And it's offensive to me as a counselor to be accused of such a thing. It's about money, and it's about being fiscally responsible for the city. And to say it's anything else other than that, one city, one standard, all these little slogans that we get and so forth, it's unfortunate that you have decided to frame it in that fashion, because it's not true. And I think you need to be careful when you're accusing people of doing something unfair, potentially illegal. I saw on the computer, oh, the rich people are getting their garbage recycled. And I just think it's unfortunate when you do that kind of stuff. Like I said earlier in the meeting, Facebook is nice, but it shouldn't judge how we act as councilors or city officials.
Mr. President?
Yes.
So I'm just going to add a few things, because obviously I got us into this situation, so I will own it. The reason that we started curbside recycling was we picked an area logistically that we thought would work in trying this without buying any new trucks, without buying any new equipment, by moving around how we were going to pick up garbage, and to see if it would work, even if picking up half the city. Certainly 9 years has been long enough. I wouldn't have proposed this if I didn't feel that we had the finances to do so. And I'm glad Mr. Khan also believes that we have the finances to do so. Very much respect your opinion about the direction of financing that the city has due to the uncertainty of Columbus and certainly the uncertainty of the federal government. I thank you for pointing out this has not been for a lack of trying. And quite frankly, council is in charge of the budget. Any one of these years, any one of you could have said, let's put 400,000 or 300,000 or whatever towards this project. Any one of those years, you're in control of that. So to say it's favoritism and things, I do get a little bit bent out of shape with that as well. However, in today's political climate, completely understand why people go to that when they say so. I wholeheartedly agree 9 years has been long enough. I wholeheartedly believe that everybody should be given the same opportunity. I would just like to point out the areas that do have recycling, you get 64 gallons of trash. In the areas that don't have recycling, you get 32 gallons, which is 96 gallons of trash that you're able to put out each week. So if anything.
So is that trash to recycling? So you,
right now, the ordinance is 9 bags or 3 32-gallon garbage containers.
mm-hmm.
The totes that we're going to are 64 gallon for trash, 64 gallon for recycling, but the recycling is every other week. So over a
I thought
2-hour
it was going to become weekly once this was citywide. Did I misunderstand that?
did, because as we've been saying, on Fridays, it's gonna be half the city on one Friday and half the city on the other Friday. Until we get in a position where we can purchase the trucks that we, right now, like the ones that have a split rear back, where 60% of the back is dedicated to garbage and 40% is for recycling. Those trucks are topping off at about $400,000 a piece right now. So we need at minimum of 3 of them in order to do this.
And we're allowed to have, I remember from before, from wards 1 and 2, you're allowed more than one recycling tote?
I think you can request it. I don't remember if there was a fee for that. I know there's a fee for the garbage
I
one.
remember you, before you said there wasn't.
Typically-
That was a few, I mean, that was many years ago.
Typically, if people will box the rest of their recycling and leave it next to the can. Recycling, as we've seen, even though these lids are heavy, if people put it out on a Thursday night and it's windy, it's not like garbage, it goes everywhere. So our staff does do a lot more pickup with recycling. The anticipated, when we did this in the first areas, which, by the way, a portion of Ward 3 is included in that, a very small portion, but a portion nonetheless. We saw about a 20 to 25% decrease in our landfill expense. The other thing to keep in mind too, and again, I agree that we have to do recycling. When we go out to the landfill, we're the largest contributor to our county landfill, and we pay the most tipping fees. So there's a tipping fee on top of what we are charged per ton for disposing of the municipal waste. Those tipping fees help fund the solid waste district. So the less garbage we're bringing, the less money that's going to our solid waste district for your hazardous waste programs, for your tire amnesty programs, for all those fun stuff that we're able to do from the county perspective as well. The county solid waste district, much like they did the first time, I've asked them if they would take on the cost of delivering the carts to the resident and the papers that, or the educational materials that go along with it. They have agreed to do that. Back then, it was around $20,000 to $25,000. I anticipate it's probably going to be double that this time, depending on the quotes that we get, but at least we don't have to pay for that. All in all, the carts, I believe, are around 290-some thousand. We had 60,000 left over from the last grant that's just been sitting in the account, which, as Vlad had on his appropriations ordinance, we're going to use those funds because it's for recycling to help offset that. Again, I agree that I think it's time to get this done. I've wanted to get this done. We've worked on getting this done for a long time. And to say there's any other reasons behind it is just not true. There's been very much fiscal responsibility and the fiscal demand of what this thing would cost. If you recall, we originally wanted to be able to do this with all the new trucks, and the cost was over $2 million. We've now pared that all the way down to around $300 and some thousand, and we hope to get this done. If council agrees to this, it's about a 4-week lead time from the time we order them. But in the meantime, we are going to want to change schedules and routing so that people get used to this. We'll probably do garbage pickup 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday, with recycling in your particular area every other. We're probably going to try to roll that out before the carts get rolled out so that we can work out any kinks of picking up garbage. We certainly don't want garbage laying around before we roll out the entire program. So it'll still be a couple months before everything is in place, ordered, delivered, if council goes and approves this ordinance, which, again, I am recommending you do.
Mr. Manager, do you stockpile extra of the totes for
We
new
have a
builds,
few.
new houses,
Yeah,
something
so
gets stolen?
We do have
or
a few extra, and then we also have pieces parts. Typically, the only thing we see on these carts have held up extremely well. We're approaching 10 years on these carts. Typically, it's a couple wheels here and there. We haven't really had problems with lids, but we do have pieces parts that if a resident says, hey, I have a broke wheel, or if the guys notice it on the truck, we can go
Okay.
out and put.
That
put
was
new
my
parts on it.
question too. For 1 and 2, how many totes do we have down on 1 and 2?
I believe we ordered around 3,000 of each to begin with.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it's about 2,800, and we're gonna verify that number, but the quotes I have is 2,800. I don't know if we'll need all 2,800,
Okay.
but I believe
I
that's
just
how it
didn't
will
know,
be.
like, when are you thinking possibly those need replaced?
Not even thinking that right now.
Okay. Well, no, I mean, I just
But yeah,
didn't know of a
yeah.
cost. I know I have numerous properties, and so I have, I'll
Well,
be working on one, and I'm pulling them out there. And I know they're older, and I'm like, they are in pretty good shape.
At today's
for
rate,
being-
it would be, if we ordered a whole nother, it's about 300,000
Okay.
for both, for recycling and
Okay.
garbage.
So if that did go through, that would be a possibility of some kind of conversation in the future that
Eventually, they will have to be
earmarking,
replaced.
yeah, absolutely.
But I would
You know,
like
they
to
don't
get
last forever.
sanitation in a position where they're starting to have a carryover before we
Okay.
start replacing those.
And Mr. President,
Yes.
I just wanted to say, and I think this is good, clear the air, especially after Mrs. Foglio and giving all of her service and departing, because I think that just shows, as a council, we need to stick together so that the public knows that we are all here for the right reasons. We are here for what's the best thing for the city, to work hard for all of our residents and constituents, and it's not one side against the other. And if we agree to disagree at times, that will happen. That's our right and that's our opinion. And sometimes social media is just the worst because it'll only give you half the facts. And good governance is giving you all the information. And sometimes, and to suggest that any of us would be against recycling is absurd. I mean, we all should be recycling. I mean, I tote my stuff all the time down there and take it. And I know that I'll still have to take it because every other week is not enough. I definitely will not be able to. So many factors go into a decision for the good of all. One of those decisions is that there is also a cost to many decisions. The cost for Ward 1 and 2 to recycle was a grant. Ultimately, we hope that we would have recycling across the city. We currently had a snag on that. We applied for the grant. I'm appalled that we didn't get it. That was scary. That was scary. I thought hands down we got it. I mean, it's 2026 and we have areas that aren't recycling. That's embarrassing. I believe in recycling. I currently do recycle and take my items to the transfer station weekly. What I don't believe in, and I still am on the fence, I don't know what I'm doing, is taking about $300,000 from the general fund that sanitation, we're not paying back. We see today needing emergency legislation for fixing an AC unit. We see in Public Works report, water pollution controls holding off on large capital expenditures to avoid exceeding their budget, while community improvement plan design phase is ongoing. In Public Works report, staff are looking into feasibility of leasing rather than purchasing the split 60/40 trucks, but we're not in that position. On top of all that, like I said, I'm disheartened that we didn't get the grant. In the budget, it states that within the Parks and Levy Fund, that they cannot sustain larger purchases without budgeting and utilizing carryover. The PI fund is used for large equipment purchases like plows, fire vehicles, et cetera. We need a new street sweeper, $300,000, new ambulance, $400,000, and we need a new public works building. So looking at the budget, we wouldn't be doing our due diligence if we didn't look at that also. So, and I do have deep faith in Mr. Khan with the money, because I've struggled with this, because we have to be responsible if something catastrophic comes up, that we have the funds, and that knowing that $800,000 and doing the budget, I'm a big believer, I do everything on a budget. So I feel that we're in good hands when we get the A-OK from Mr. Khan. So you're confirming that we are okay to earmark these funds?
Mr. President, just if I could speak on that. So the ordinance is for $296,030. And as I mentioned, we had 60 some odd thousand sitting in that
Yeah, I
grant line
saw
item
that.
for recycling. So
It's been moving year after year,
right,
just moving
what we're
over.
taking out of the carryover in the general fund, is approximately 230 some odd $1,000. And again, we've been able to build up that carryover in the general fund by being prudent for projects like this. Now, as we mentioned before, we would like council to consider a policy or a framework around how we expend carryover funds for certain items, for certain expenditures such as this, so that it doesn't get out of hand in future, if there's a future city manager or future council people.
Right, let's just pull from the general
Just
fund.
pull from the carryovers that we have
Yeah.
worked extremely hard to have for emergency situations or for projects like this. You mentioned some of the other projects, but those have a revenue stream that has been working. And again, we got into a bit of a situation with sanitation. We've corrected that. And I think those carryover funds will start to grow. And operationally, we can do some different things as the new rates take effect. But I do think at this time, it's important that we finish recycling, if not for anything, that the misinformation and the accusations stop.
Can
I've
I-
also
can
seen
I
a
ask
lot
you
of
a
these people
question?
that are for recycling also accuse us of not taking recycling to a recycling facility, and it just goes to the landfill. It goes to Kimball and Twinsburg. The second building that's on the facility is where all the recycling is stocked. The county solid waste district pays to have it hauled from that building to Kimball in Twinsburg. And I guess you can follow the truck. The trucks are similar. The recycling truck is much bigger than our sanitation trailer. The recycling one is bigger, and the tractor, the semi part, the motor part, has our big decal on the door. If it doesn't have our decal on the door, it's the recycling trailer. Sometimes we do have to rent a vehicle because the semi goes down.
Mr. Manager,
Yes.
I was wondering if were we looking at legislation that would have for pulling from the general fund for enterprise funds kind of thing? Were we
That's the
talking?
policy that we were talking about. I don't think it'll be legislation, but I
Or
think
some
we
kind of a
should-
policy
Yes,
that,
I think we should consider, I think council, you as the owners of the purse strings, should consider a policy, and Mr. Khan had put together an example of one for you to review, but I think you should consider a policy, not only pulling the general fund to supplement a enterprise fund, but pulling from carryover to do a multitude of different things.
so would that go through finance then,
I think that'd be
maybe?
a great place for it, yes.
Okay, all right, because I think that I would probably feel a little bit better, so it's just not like, oh, yeah, let's pull from that when these are supposed to be self-sustaining funds. You know what I mean? Okay, thank you.
Mr. Simeone?
Mr. Manager, I won't go into either. We'll vote on it and we'll go from there. One question I do have, do you know off the top of your head what the legislation is on people putting trash out either too early or not removing their garbage? Because I think you see more and more of it this time of
I
year.
think it's 6 PM
Or is
the
it
night
6?
before, and I think it's by end of day on the day of pickup.
Okay.
I
And
think that's what it is.
And also with people, like, they can't leave their trash cans like in front of their house and fill them up out there.
There's actually no legislation that says where they put their garbage cans in the new zoning. We would like to address that.
Okay.
Yes.
Because would that make a difference for if we get the trucks that do both of them, so where they put their can
We're
for,
talking about where they're stored. Some people store them like in the front of their house.
oh, yeah,
rather than on the side.
yes, I give you complaints on those, yeah.
And I'm just going to add again, Mr. Timonier, we heard tonight someone say what a wonderful job you're doing, and I share those sentiments as well. But I can't go along with this, and I know for years, we wanted to do it, we just never could, and I don't think because people are complaining or because whatever is a good enough reason for me. Like I said, I came to this council when there was hardly any money, hardly any carryover. And that's gonna, and when I hear our Public Works report last week, we need a new building, I just don't feel comfortable. And what's happening at the state in Columbus, man, they could ruin us in a matter of a week. And so I'm not gonna support this. I mean, of course, I'm an environmentalist. I'm probably the most liberal person up here when it comes to the environment. And so I'm okay, but I'm not gonna support this. And I hope you'll appreciate that.
Mr. President, I do appreciate that, and I understand your concerns about finances, and all of you know that is something Mr. Khan and I watch all the time. We're concerned about it as well. But I think, like we said, between what our administration has done, what finance has done, and the measures that council has put into place, we've put the city in a very good position right now financially. We can't do everything that we want to do, but I think this is a worthy expenditure of those carryover funds. But I do respect your opinion on it.
Because I tell you what, a guy in the coffee shop tells me his road is a worthy expenditure of emergency funds. So I mean, that's what we're gonna be running into.
Everybody's going to have a
Yeah,
opinion on
my
that.
road is
Yes.
emergency, this and that. You know, people, we're spending what, $4 million on Main Avenue? And people are like, what about, what about?
Isn't that grant money?
So
It
was
is
the-
grant money.
So was the recycling cans originally. That was-
About 350,000 of the Collins Boulevard is out of our paving budget as the contribution towards the ODOT project.
And don't get me wrong, we're excited about Main Avenue, but that was grant money, just like the recycling thing was grant money.
We first did it.
But I'm,
And like I said, I was extremely disappointed, but the word we're getting back from Columbus is recycling isn't the sexy
isn't the
thing
big thing
anymore.
anymore.
Now
No,
it's
that's
more
right.
about other types of things and,
Yeah.
yeah.
well, either.
So
or-
I have a question, Mr. President.
I'm sorry.
Mr. Khan, just how much money do we have total? I know I should know that, but
Well, I think we
Total,
predicted,
what are
I think
our-
last year's carryover was around $6 million.
$6 million. And what do we feel is a comfortable number?
When I first started, we had a $200,000 carryover.
Okay, so
So
do we
I
need
mean-
10 million? Do we need 20 million? I mean, what do we feel is a comfortable number?
I mean, for me, $3-4 million carryover is a good number. I'm sure Mr. Khan would like to see it a little bit higher.
That actually will be in the proposed policy.
Okay, because I gotta agree with the statement that you just made. I mean, if I lived on Joseph Avenue between 5th Street and
Oh, that's terrible.
8th or 9th,
Yeah, that needs
you know,
done.
I would be like, there's nothing more important than getting my road paved. I,
Okay. Are there, thank you, Mr. Guerrero. Is there any discussion of old business or legislation for second reading? Any discussion for the good of the order? All right, thank you, everyone.
Mr. President,
Yeah.
I guess I didn't bring it up in my report, but Ms. DiGiacomo mentioned it. I am requesting that we repeal the ordinance on accessory structures over 200 square feet. We've run into some, it's been a little bit of a hostile environment in the office due to this, and we ran into some issues with the county building department on this as well. I think for the time being, and the fact that we're moving into the quite a bit of the zoning phase of our master plan update, I think we'll deal with the consequences of what happens within the next 6 to 8 months on this. But it is on the agenda for tonight to
repeal that
repeal that.
moratorium.
And to not put anything into place, we may consider some other legislation for the size requirement at a future time, but right now, we feel repealing it is okay. I want you to know that we did research this with the solicitor's office. We looked at ways that maybe each project could be taken through the planning commission or some type of conditional use, but because of the language currently in our zoning, it was gonna take too long and there was no sense of adopting new policies when we're already working on new policies within the next 6 to 8 months. So we did look at other avenues besides just repealing it and replacing it with some other language, but we feel we'd be okay repealing it at this point.
Thank you.
Okay?
Mr. President, so Mr. Manager, would planning then, so I guess what they're trying to do is still ensure that you're not going to have like this little house and this big monstrosity that's blocking something?
That'll be in the new zoning. Right now, what we'll do is based on kind of what we've been doing for the last however many years.
Okay.
Make sure that setbacks are met from the property lines and make sure that there's still, I think it's 35% yard, that those, all the numbers that have to happen on a property are still met based on the current zoning.
So in some of that zoning then, because sometimes the right hand and the left hand, when you're going to, different things have happened. You go to Jefferson for a permit, they're giving you a permit, and then nobody checks with the city, and things are going, and then it's not what's supposed to be, and so that everything is just like one easy, check the box, I know,
Well,
so,
unless we ever got a building department back in the city, which I don't see us ever doing, because that was a state change where you have to have a certified building department, which means you're paying a engineer to be your building official, inspectors, all that stuff. We'll never be able to afford that, I don't think. Because there again, that's almost like an enterprise fund where it's funded on the permits that are issued. It's just more lines of communication with Jefferson,
Communication.
making sure that they're following the procedures we need them to follow for our particular community.
or things come up, like a new business comes in, and they don't, they're not even, they're starting a business, but haven't even notified the city. How does that
And
happen?
unfortunately, that's just a
Yeah.
lot of enforcement. One thing that we're talking about with the new zoning is quite hefty fees if people don't get whether they did it by accident or not. I think we have to stop with, oh, I didn't know and I forgot.
Yeah, smack their hand in.
Checking with the city
yeah.
should be the first thing you do. Yeah, so.
Okay.
All right, very good. We are going to go on now, thank you. We are going to go on with the reading of our legislation so that we could approve our agenda. Ms. Milberg, would you do that for us, please?
Ordinance number 2026-121, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to dispose of obsolete and unneeded vehicles, round 2. Resolution number 2026-122, a resolution repealing 2025-83 pertaining to accessory structures over 200 square feet. Ordinance number 2026-123, an ordinance to authorize a renewal agreement with EPLS LLC for prescription benefit consultant services. Resolution number 2026-124, a resolution of Ashtabula City Council adopting the Ashtabula County Hazard Mitigation Plan. Ordinance number 2026-125, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to purchase recycling and rubbish containers from WasteQuip LLC to complete the city's curbside recycling program. Ordinance number 2026-126, an ordinance to make supplemental changes to appropriations in the general fund and all other funds listed on Exhibit A for current expenses and other expenditures of the city of Ashtabula, state of Ohio for the period January 1st through December 31st, 2026. Ordinance number 2026-127, an ordinance repealing ordinance 2026-88 for the purpose of enacting replacement legislation, providing compensation and wages to employees of the Ashtabula City Municipal Court and Probation Divisions. Ordinance number 2026-128, an ordinance authorizing compensation, salaries, and wages to employees of the Ashtabula City Municipal Court and Probation Divisions. Ordinance number 2026-129, an ordinance adopting the tax budget of the city of Ashtabula for the fiscal year beginning on January 1st, 2027, and submitting the same to the Ashtabula County, Ohio Budget Commission. Ordinance number 2026-130, an ordinance declaring an emergency and authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement for HVAC repairs at the Annex Building with Ziegler Heating and Cooling. And for second reading tonight, ordinance number 2026-97, an ordinance repealing in its entirety codified ordinance section 759.08 for the purpose of removing the requirement to obtain a completed FBI and BCI background check. And ordinance number 2026-98, an ordinance enacting new codified ordinance section 759.08.
Thank you, Ms. Milberg. May we have a motion to approve the order of tonight's agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Holman moves and Mrs. DeGiacomo seconds. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will do so by a 6-0 vote. There are no special items tonight. I don't think we have any communications. At this time, we will hear from any citizen who would like to address council. If you do, please approach the podium, state your address, name and address, and you are limited to 5 minutes, whatever you would like to share with us. Okay, okay.
Good evening. Liz Penna, 360 Rosier Lake Avenue, apartment 406, Ashtabula, Ohio. I was really listening to the discussion about the recycling. And I really feel that it's important that all the wards have the ability to have the chance to do the recycling. It will keep our communities a lot cleaner. It'll give people a little bit more pride in knowing that what they're throwing out can be used, especially with the plastics and things. And I really feel that the comment about one community is really important, especially when there's so much division over every little thing. And if the money is available for every ward to be able to recycle, I think it would be good for the entire city. It would boost the morale of the community and also make the council look a little bit more community-friendly to the other people in the other wards 3, 4, and 5, that they don't feel like they're being left out too. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Panna. Anyone else who would like to address council?
My name is Bobby Keene. I live at 1733 West 15th Street. So the way I take it, I could build this garage, but I've been up here about.
If the legislation passes tonight.
Okay.
If we pass the legislation, the moratorium is lifted, you can go to the city department, get your permits, and then you could build your garage.
Okay. Now, what about replacing sidewalks that are missing, damaged, whatever? How does that work?
Mr. President.
Who
Mr.
takes
Keene,
care of all that?
The sidewalks are the responsibility of the property owner. That's an Ohio Revised Code. We do, however, have a replacement program where we can reimburse for a certain percentage of the concrete, not labor, but of the concrete. If you come up to our office, there's a form you fill out. Our inspectors will go measure what needs to be replaced and then determine how much can be reimbursed to you. You do have to pay the full bill. And when the contractor that you select pours the sidewalk, they need to have it listed separately, the concrete material and the labor, so we know.
So what if I do it myself?
I think we still reimburse you on we still need all the receipts for the concrete. And there's a portion of that we refund. And we will let you know all that when you come.
Because I got like 6 or 7 missing in one spot where the tree destroyed it.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah, we can come out, if you tell us what you'd like to have done, we'll come out and measure it and let you know what to be reimbursed. It's
Okay.
like $2.95 a cubic yard or something. I can't remember how it works out.
All right.
But
Also, I would like to thank John Milnick and Jepson. They did a good job getting rid of my ditch so far. They've got to let it settle a little bit and got some pieces back on order, but they did a fine job, real good job.
Right.
I'm real happy.
Thank you, we're happy to hear that.
Now, this isn't in my area, but
My brother lives on 23rd Street, and he can't get to these meetings, he works. So I told him I'd say something about it. The house next to him, he lives at 1007 East 23rd Street, on the north side. And the house west of him is a little house. And my parents he bought the house from my parents. He's been there probably 10, 15 years now. Well, my parents owned the house for probably 25 years. The house has never been worth living in since before my parents bought it. It's got more rodents in it. The guy, he don't do anything. He doesn't do nothing to it at all. My brother and the neighbor next to him have been mowing the lawn most of the time. The house is leaning. It's got coons in it, possums. I'm sure it's full of rats. And this place needs to be condemned and tore down. It really does. I mean, it is an eyesore to begin with.
Did you get that address, Mr. Timonier?
So 1007 is your brother's address, correct?
Yes, 1007. He lives on the corner. I'm not sure what that road is. It goes back to the nursing home. It doesn't have a sign there. Pardon me?
The one that goes back,
Yeah, I think that is what it is. He lives on that corner, on the north side. It's the house east of him, just a little place. You know, it's
he lives on the White House on the corner,
yeah.
and the house, isn't the house next to him pretty nice? Was it used to be Noter's house?
No, that's the other side of the street.
Oh, you're on the opposite.
We're on the north. I'm on the,
Oh,
talking about
okay,
the
I'm
north
sorry.
side.
Yeah,
I thought
all
we
right,
s-
I know where you're
I thought we said East 23rd Street.
Yeah.
So 1007 East 23rd Street is between Columbus Avenue and Harbor Avenue.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you're heading west, if you're heading east on 23rd Street, it's right before you start down into the dip of the gully.
And you said it's the house to the west of him,
East.
East.
to the east of him. Okay.
Right before,
I don't even think there's power going to it anymore.
right before the field.
Yeah, right,
right
yeah.
before
There's
the
only
field.
3 houses on that
Yeah,
section
yeah.
there.
Right
One's
before
his
the
and there's
field.
the house in the middle and
Yeah.
it's not even a house really.
Yeah, that house has been for a while.
It's terrible.
Well,
We can, before you leave, I'll show you some pictures, and we'll make sure we have the right address, and we'll go out there and I'll see if maybe we already have some information on it.
Yeah.
might have already been reported.
Yep.
I don't even think it's got a floor in it.
It's an old house.
It's a very old house. My aunt lived back there in the 60s in the house. That's how old it is. It's not worth having. And then the one on the corner of 14th and Pennsylvania on, behind me, they still ain't done anything with that backyard.
I believe charges have been filed on that one.
He's brought in a lot of stuff to, looks like he's wanting to put a fence up, but he just keeps piling that up too. So everything else gets more and more and more junk. Yeah, so
All right.
pretty
Thank you,
pathetic.
Mr. King.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else who would like to address council? Okay, seeing no one, we are going to go on to meeting announcements, councilors' comments we've had. Ms. Milberg, we'll do our minutes now, please. Thank you.
June 15th, 2026, public hearing was called to order at 5:30 PM by President Roskovich. Present, Mr. Roskovich, Mrs. Foglio, Mr. Guerrero, Mrs. Mills, Ms. Holman, Mrs. DiGiacomo. Officers present were City Manager Timonier, City Solicitor Cooper, and Finance Director Khan. Absent, Mr. Simeone, Clerk of Council Milberg.
Okay, I will move that we approve I will move we waive the reading of the minutes.
I'll second.
Mrs. Mills seconds. Is there any discussion?
I have a question. I'm not sure which minute we're on the public hearing minutes. This is not the tax budget minutes, this is our council meeting minutes.
No, this
This is the public hearing for the
that's the
tax
tax
budget.
Tax budget
Tax-
minutes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? we will waive the reading by a 6-0 vote.
June 15th, 2026 pre-council meeting was called to order at 6 PM by President Roskovich. Present, Mr. Roskovich, Mrs. Foglio, Mr. Guerrero, Mrs. Mills, Ms. Holman, Mrs. DiGiacomo. Officers present were City Manager Timonier, City Solicitor Cooper, and Finance Director Khan. Absent, Mr. Simeone and Clerk of Council Milberg.
May I have a motion to waive the reading of the minutes? Ms. Holman will move.
Second.
Mrs. Mills will second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will waive the reading by a 6-0 vote.
June 15th, 2026 regular council meeting was called to order at 7:01 PM by President Roskovich. Mrs. DiGiacomo offered the opening prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance was recited. A moment of silence was observed for APD officers David Clemens and James Henry. Present, Mr. Roskovich, Mrs. Foglio, Mr. Guerrero, Mrs. Mills, Ms. Holman, Mrs. DiGiacomo. Officers present were City Manager Timonier, City Solicitor Cooper, and Finance Director Khan. Absent, Mr. Simeone and Clerk of Council Milberg.
I will move we waive the reading of the minutes.
Second.
Second by Ms. Holman. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will waive the reading by a 6-0 vote. Thank you, Ms. Milberg. There are no resolutions tonight. We have new business, or we have our legislation for passage. Would you like to read that again for us? Because it was so much fun the first.
Mr. President, I apologize for the interruption, but there is a correction that I need to recommend, and I'm a bit lost, honestly. But the minutes that are part of our council meeting, page 9 of the 82 of the big packet, and this was the part where I was sharing information, and I just want a minor correction. When Madam Solicitor and I were talking about the request from law enforcement, and I responded, I didn't mention I was the volunteer, because I didn't actually know who she was referring to, and no names were mentioned. I just mentioned as a volunteer in my role, I shared my experience. So as opposed to, it's a small semantic thing, but it matters, as opposed to the volunteer, I was just simply a volunteer sharing my experience. Thank you. Mr. President.
Thank you. Ms. Milberg, please.
Ordinance number 2026-121, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to dispose of obsolete and unneeded vehicles, round 2. Resolution number 2026-122, a resolution repealing 2025-83 pertaining to accessory structures over 200 square feet. Ordinance number 2026-123, an ordinance to authorize a renewal agreement with EPLS LLC for prescription benefit consultant services. Resolution number 2026-124, a resolution of Ashtabula City Council adopting the Ashtabula County Hazard Mitigation Plan. Ordinance number 2026-125, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to purchase recycling and rubbish containers from Wastequip LLC to complete the city's curbside recycling program. Ordinance number 2026-126, an ordinance to make supplemental changes to appropriations in the general fund and all other funds listed on Exhibit A for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Ashtabula, State of Ohio, for the period January 1st through December 31st, 2026. Ordinance number 2026-127, an ordinance repealing ordinance 2026-88 for the purpose of enacting replacement legislation providing compensation and wages to employees of the Ashtabula City Municipal Court and Probation Divisions. Ordinance number 2026-128, an ordinance authorizing compensation, salaries, and wages to employees of the Ashtabula City Municipal Court and Probation Divisions. Ordinance number 2026-129, an ordinance adopting the tax budget of the City of Ashtabula for the fiscal year beginning on January 1st, 2027, and submitting the same to the Ashtabula County, Ohio Budget Commission. Ordinance number 2026-130, an ordinance declaring an emergency and authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement for HVAC repairs at the Annex Building with Ziegler Heating and Cooling.
Thank you, Ms. Milberg. I am going to ask that we separate out ordinance 125, 2026-125, the recycling containers. I'm going to ask that we separate that out. With that being separated out, is it council's desire to handle the rest of the ordinances in consent agenda format?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Holman moves and Mrs. Mills seconds. Is there any discussion? That would be, just to clarify again, 121 through 124 and 126 through 130. Okay? All right. Any discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will do consent agenda format by a 6-0 vote. Is there a motion to waive the reading of this legislation in its entirety?
Second.
Mr. Guerrero moves, Ms. Holman seconds. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will waive the reading by a 6-0 vote. Is there a motion to waive the charter requirements of 2 readings?
Second.
Mr. Guerrero moves, Ms. Holman seconds. Any discussion? Ms. Milberg, would you please call the roll?
Mrs. DiGiacomo?
Yes.
Mr. Guerrero?
Yes.
Mr. Simeone?
Yes.
Mr. Roskovich?
Yes.
Ms. Holman?
Yes.
Mrs. Mills?
Yes.
That that we will waive the charter requirements by a 6-0 vote. We will now vote on the adoption of these items. Would you please call the roll again?
Mr. Guerrero?
Yes.
Mr. Simeone?
Yes.
Mr. Roskovich?
Yes.
Ms. Holman?
Yes.
Mrs. Mills?
Yes.
Mrs. DiGiacomo?
Yes.
All items of legislation have passed by a 6-0 vote. We will now go back to item 2026-125, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to repurchase recycling and rubbish bins. May I have a motion to waive the reading of that legislation in its entirety?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Holman moves, Ms. Mills seconds. Is there any discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will waive the reading by a 6-0 vote. I will now entertain a motion to waive the charter requirements of 2 readings.
So moved.
Ms. Holman moves and Mr. Simeone seconds. Is there any discussion? Would you please call the roll on waiving the 2 readings?
Mrs. DiGiacomo?
Yes.
Mr. Guerrero?
Yes.
Mr. Simeone?
Yes.
Mr. Roskovich?
Yes.
Ms. Holman?
Yes.
Mrs. Mills?
Yes.
So we will waive the charter requirements of 2 readings by a 6-0 vote. I will now entertain a motion to vote on the adoption of that legislation.
You just need a roll call. You don't need a motion
Pardon?
to.
Oh, I don't need another motion? Oh. I don't know why. Every once in a while I'm allowed to mess up. Okay, we will now vote on the adoption of that legislation. And once again, I'm just going to say, I hope next time people are more judicious with some of their comments in post. Would you please call the roll?
Mr. Guerrero?
Yes.
Mr. Simeone?
Yes.
Mr. Roskovich?
No.
Ms. Holman?
Yes.
Mrs. Mills?
Yes.
Mrs. DiGiacomo?
Yes.
That item has passed by a 5-1 vote. We will continue on with our items that are on for first reading. May I have a motion? Oh, I'm sorry, we got second reading. There are no items for first reading. Now we're going to our items for second reading. Would you read us those 2 items, please?
Ordinance number 2026-97, an ordinance repealing in its entirety codified ordinance section 759.08 for the purpose of removing the requirement to obtain a completed FBI and BCI background check. And ordinance number 2026-98, an ordinance enacting new codified ordinance section 759.08.
May I have a motion to waive the reading of this legislation in its entirety? I will move.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Mills. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will waive it by a 6-0 vote. We will now vote on the adoption of the legislation. Would you please call the roll?
Mrs. DiGiacomo?
So we're voting on 1 and 2 together?
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Mr. Guerrero?
Yes.
Mr. Simeone?
Yes.
Mr. Roskovich?
Yes.
Ms. Holman?
No.
Mrs. Mills?
Yes.
These two items have passed by a 5-1 vote. Okay. Very good. Are there any administrative approval votes this evening?
Yes.
I think there is. Okay. We're going to reappoint Mr. Len Jury to the Parks Board. Any comments or questions? All in favor?
I do want to make a comment. Len Jury has been a real asset to the Parks Board.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. DiGiacomo. Any other comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Mr. Jury will be approved by a 6-0 vote. Okay. I think that, what do we got? There's no liquor permits or anything, so, all right, we're moving on. Does anyone have anything for tell us something we don't know?
I do. So, July 17th at the West 38th Street Park, the Goofy movie will be shown. It's 7 to 11. The movie starts at, I think, 7:30, and that's at the West 38th Street Park, and it is free.
Thank you.
Mr. President?
Yes.
Just a couple things. They're having something new, a night market, Harbor Night Market. It's next Friday, the 17th, from 5 to 8 in the harbor. They're going to have music in the park by Smooth Jazz Trio, street vendors, food trucks, merchant supplies, and extended hours. So they're trying to do some different things down there and keep things open later. And then our library does so many good things. So there's something coming up, a bike safety story time and this is at Red Brook Metro Park. So that's on the following Friday, the 24th. Grab your bike and head to Red Brook Metro Park for a special bike safety story time. If you have kids, grandkids in grades kindergarten to fifth grade, get a free bike helmet from Ashtabula County Metro Parks. They're going to do stories and take a ride through the park wearing their new helmets. So I think if you go on, they'd really like you to register ahead of time. If you're not really sure, you can stop in the Ashtabula Library, but I just thought that was kind of cool, and you get a free bike helmet and get to take a ride and get to do stories, and then it's almost school time, so that's kind of cool. And we do have Bands on the Beach, which is the 9th this week. Oh my gosh, time. Swamp Rattlers, 7 to 9, be there.
That's the name of the band, Swamp Rattlers?
Swamp Rattlers. I think I've heard them once at the Lakeshore Park Rib Burn-Off or something. They were pretty good.
All right,
One
very
of those.
good.
And we have Wine and Walleye coming up, and there's a way, Jim, I know they need sign-ups, so what's the sign-up for?
Most of them already.
Sign Up Genius?
Yeah, it's in Sign Up Genius. They can go to the Facebook page or wineandwalleye.com, I think. Wine and Walleye Festival.
And we still have the best fireworks on Saturday night, right?
I believe so.
Yep, they're great. They're great. So lots of fireworks happening.
Does anyone else have anything for tell us something we don't know? I would just say that they had the Beach Glass Festival, good-sized crowds, and I tell you what, it should be a mandatory attendance for some people on Facebook who trash our town. They should go down there and listen to those people talk about our city and brag about our
Out
city.
of towners, they love it. They
Yeah.
love it here.
And compliment our city. It was a nice event, well-attended. And so, like we said, Beach Glass Festival is coming up, so very good. All right, anything else? All right, I know we've been here a while. We got a lot accomplished, probably. So our next meeting is Monday, July 20th. And that'll start at 6 o'clock. So until then, everybody be safe and enjoy your summer. And thank you for